So I welcome everyone to yet another session of the Bhagavad Gita reading, and we are doing the important verses of Bhagavad Gita together. We read the verse, we understand the translation, and we also see some nice applications from each of these verses. So thank you everyone for joining. Let's start the screen share. Okay. So I think, Anmol, you can start with the prayers. Hare Krishna. Okay. Siddharth, do you want to start the prayers?
Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanditam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parjana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vacha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Thank you so much, Siddharth. That was wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so a quick revision of the previous verses. We can take chances and each of you try to recite any verse that you're comfortable with. You would like to recite, you can go ahead. Yes, Anmol, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, can I say 4.7?
Yes.
Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirvavati bharata abhyuttamannam dharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham.
Very nice. Thank you so much. Siddharth?
Mataji, I'll do I'll do 4.9 Mataji.
Okay, go ahead.
Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sojana.
Very nice. Krishna Chaitanya. Yes. Yes, Krishna Chaitanya.
5.18 Vidyanaya sampanne brahmane kavihastini suni chaiva sapake cha pandita samadarshina.
Very nice. All of you did your exams very well. Thank you. Very, very nice. Okay. So let's have a quick revision of what we did in our previous session. So last week we didn't meet for a class because we had our exams. The week before that, it was a holiday and everyone was busy. But the week before that, we went through the health shloka of Bhagavatam. And the health shloka was Yuktahara Viharasya. This is the shloka that we did previously. And in that shloka, we were seeing the principle of regulation. We were seeing how important it is to have regulated eating, sleeping, recreation, and work. So I hope you all remember that shloka. We saw how you should make sure that you sleep enough, you should eat enough, you should work enough, and you should play enough. Too much of anything is always a problem. Too less of anything is also a problem. So this is what we saw in our previous session. And continuing from there, in this class, we are going to go to the next verse, which would be, just a second. Yeah. Prapya punya kritam lokam. Okay, so let's start reciting this verse. Please, can you see the screen? I think it's gone, right? The screen is
No, Mataji.
it's on? Okay.
Yeah, it's just a white.
It's gone.
It's gone. Yeah. Yeah, okay. That's right.
It's back.
Yeah. Okay. So please repeat after me. Prapya punya kritam lokan.
Prapya punya
कृता लोका
Ushitva shashvati samaha. Prapya punya kritam lokan.
प्राप्य पुण्यकृतां लोकान्
Prapya punya kritam lokan.
प्राप्य पुण्यकृतां लोकान्
Prapya punya kritam lokan.
प्राप्य पुण्यकृतां लोकान्
Ushitva shashvati samaha.
उषित्वा शाश्वती समाः
Ushitva shashvati samaha.
उषित्वा शाश्वती समाः
Ushitva shashvati samaha.
उषित्वा शाश्वती समाः
Shuchinam shrimatam gehe.
शुचीनां श्रीमतां गेहे
Shuchinam shrimatam gehe.
शुचीनां श्रीमतां गेहे
Shuchinam shrimatam gehe.
शुचीनां श्रीमतां गेहे
Yoga prashtho vijayate.
योगभ्रष्टो जायते
Yoga prashtho vijayate.
योगभ्रष्टो विजायते
Yoga prashto vijayate.
योगभ्रष्टो विजायते
Prapya punya kritam lokan ushitva shashvati samaha.
प्राप्य पुण्यकृतां लोकान् शुचयित्वा
Prapya punya kritam lokan ushitva shashvati samaha.
प्राप्य पुण्यकृतां लोकान् शाश्वती समाः
Prapya punya kritam lokan ushitva shashvati samaha.
प्राप्य पुण्यकृतां लोकान् शाश्वती समाः
Shuchinam shrimatam gehe yoga prashto vijayate.
शुचीनां श्रीमतां गेहे योगभ्रष्टो विजायते
Shuchinam shrimatam gehe yogo brashto vijayate.
शुचीनां श्रीमतां गेहे योगभ्रष्टो विजायते
Shuchinam shrimatam gehe yogo brashto vijayate.
शुचीनां श्रीमतां गेहे योगभ्रष्टो विजायते
Prapya punya kritam lokan ushitva shashvati samaha. Shuchinam shrimatam gehe yoga prashto vijayate.
Prapya punyakritam lokan ushitva shashvati samaha. Suchinam shrimatam gehe
समाः शुचीनां श्रीमतां गेहे योगभ्रष्टो विजायते
Prapya punya kritam lokan ushitva shashvati samaha. Shuchinam shrimatam gehe yoga prashto vijayate.
प्राप्य पुण्य
punyakritam
लोकान् उषित्वा शाश्वती समाः शुचीनां श्रीमतां गेहे योगो भ्रष्ट विजायते
Very good all of you, very nice. So this is a very interesting verse. Let's look at some keywords. What's the meaning of punya? Anyone know?
pious, the credit
like
act-
pious
Yeah, very true. Lokan, loka.
planet.
Correct. Place, planet. Correct. Let's see if there is any other common word here. Shri. What is Shri?
Like
praisement.
Yeah. Praise or
Yeah, any kind of wealth, opulence, that is all Shri, right? So it indicates prosperity or wealth. Shri can also mean beauty. Basically, all the good opulences. Then Shashwati Samaha. Okay, let's not do that. Okay, so now let's see the translation. So there are some words that you may know, like Punya Kritam, pious activities, then going to a Loka, planet, and then Srimatam. Srimatam means a wealthy place, someone who's wealthy, like that. So you might have an idea of what this verse is trying to say, but we'll go through the translation. The unsuccessful yogi.
the unsuccessful
yogi,
After many years of enjoyment,
after many
years of enjoyment,
on the planets of the living entities,
on the planets of the
pious living entities,
is born into a family, of righteous people,
or
into a family, of rich aristocracy. Okay. The unsuccessful yogi, after many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy. So this verse pretty much talks about what happens to a person if he has not achieved the goal in spite of practicing his spiritual in spite of practicing several spiritual austerities and going through this hardship of perfecting his life spiritually. What happens to him if he is not able to attain his goal before he dies? So here Krishna is saying, even if such a yogi is unsuccessful, after many, what happens to him is he goes to the upper planetary systems, and there he enjoys for many years among the pious living entities, and then he falls down back onto the earth planet. Where does he fall down? He falls down into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy. Now, why does this have to happen? Why does he have to fall into either a family that is rich or a family that is very dharmic, that is full of righteous, pious people?
Because he worshipped God for many years. He has the karma. He has to get the karma back.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct. And he had not attained perfection earlier, right? So we'll see what happened to him. Did he preserve what he had already achieved in his previous birth, or did he lose all the credits? That is also something we're going to see. Yeah. So yeah, we did see this previous shloka. It was the shloka about regulation. In whatever practice you do, you must be very regulated. Be it eating, sleeping, recreation, work, whatever it may be, unless you're regulated, you're not going to be successful. So even in the practice, in our spiritual practices, regulation is very important. It is not that one day you, chant like 64 rounds and the other day you don't chant at all. So you have to be very careful. Regulation is very important. Unless you are regulated, you really cannot attain success. That is what Krishna says. But in this verse, we are saying what happens to an unsuccessful yogi, a person who's trying to practice very hard, but still he has not attained success in that lifetime. So very correctly, as you said, we do take birth in this world because of two reasons. One is our desire and the other is karma. So based on our previous actions, we take birth again and again. And the other main reason why we happen to take birth again and again is the desires. So when we have many unfulfilled desires, what happens? We want to enjoy more and more. So that is the reason why we may have to take birth again. Similarly, if we have done a lot of karma, be it either good karma or bad karma, we still have to take birth again and again. So when we do what kind of activity, we stop taking birth? Anyone remembers what are the three classifications? One is karma, the other one is vikarma, and the third one is? Anyone remember? Akarma. Very good. So when we, yes, correct, akarma and vikarma. So when we do akarma, that is activities dovetailing it to the service of Krishna, that is when we stop taking birth. And we have, our desires should also be spiritualized. We all have, remember the verse in which we saw, we all have five senses, and our senses are always after the objects of senses, and it is very difficult to control the senses. But there is no need to stop desiring. We can desire spiritual things. So when our desires and our senses are spiritualized, then we can stop taking birth. So these are a few things that we have seen in our previous sessions. So we do take birth because of two reasons. One is desire and the other one is karma. So in this verse, we are seeing what is happening to a person who has seen quite a good success in his previous birth in his spiritual pursuits, but still didn't attain perfection. He went to the upper planetary systems. He enjoyed all his past credits, and he had to take birth on earth. So what kind of family would Krishna want him to be in? In this verse, Krishna is telling that such a person who's very dear to Krishna will either take birth in a family of pious people or in a family of rich people. Why do you think Krishna chose these two options? Anyone wants to take a guess why Krishna would say that such a person should take birth in a pious family or in a rich family? Anyone wants to guess?
Because he did very good karma as a yogi. So
yes, he did very good karmas. That is correct. Yes. So how does this facilitate him? Like, if he takes birth in a pious family, what is the advantage that he's going to have in this life?
He may be able to get a chance to go back to Godhead.
Yes, correct. So if he is born in a pious family where everyone is very spiritual around him, actually all of you on this call, all you children have had this opportunity to take birth in a family of devotees. So your parents are devotees, people around you are devotees, you're going to the temple. So such kind of birth is very rare. It is very rare. You have the great fortune of taking birth in a family of devotees. So to be born in a family of devotees is not something that is very common. It's very, very rare. So that means Krishna is facilitating you. He's giving you an opportunity to start Krishna consciousness right from the day you were born, because your parents are giving this gift to you from your childhood. It is something that is very precious. So there are many people in this world who come to Krishna consciousness very, very at a very later stage, when they are in 30s or when they are in 40s or when they are in 50s or just few years before they are dead. There are many people like that. But unless a person has so much pious credits, he cannot take birth like this in a family of devotees. So that means in the previous life of such persons, they have advanced a lot in their spiritual life. They couldn't attain 100% perfection, and therefore they have the opportunity to take birth in a family of devotees or very pious people. Okay? So Krishna is basically helping such people. Krishna has not forgotten what they have done. So Krishna is trying to help them by putting them in a very nice environment. Why do you think such people should take birth in rich families? Anyone has any thoughts on this? Now, the word rich doesn't mean that, you're a billionaire or a millionaire. Rich here scripturally means you're in a comfortable family situation, quite comfortable.
So you can enjoy?
No, not exactly you can enjoy. It's more like, again, so we are also used to seeing families that are well-to-do. But what Krishna means here is in a comfortable family situation. That is, the people don't have to think too much about their means of survival. No? If you go to India, you'll see there are a lot of poor people, very, very poor. So they cannot think of Krishna consciousness from day one. All their worry is how to get food, how to feed their family, how to get proper shelter. This is the focus. Because unless these basic needs are met, it is very difficult to focus on spiritual things. Okay? So therefore, that is the reason here when we say rich families, we mean families where the situation is comfortable. You don't have to go and worry about food or shelter or clothing. Such worries are not there. If you think, if you ask your parents, I want idli or I want roti or paratha or pizza, your parents are going to make it happen for you. They're going to give it to you. They're in a comfortable position to go buy vegetables and make that for you, right? So it's not a big deal. If you want clothes on your birthday, you're going to get new clothes. So these things are all met for you. You have a decent house to live in. You have a roof over your head. So the basic needs are met for these people. So when the basic needs are met for these people, it is easier for them to focus on spiritual life. When you have so much facility, you can go to the Sunday school regularly, you can come and attend classes, you have a laptop, you have internet connection, all this is good facility. So the reason Krishna gives you all this facility so that you can just continue without any problem. You don't have to worry too much about your basic needs. That's why Krishna puts you in a happy and a very comfortable family. Okay? So these are the two places where such people take birth. So either they take birth in pious families or they take birth in decently rich families. Okay? Now, we were talking about people who previously had a lot of good credit, pious credits or spiritual credits, and they couldn't perfect their life, so they have taken birth again. Now, their spiritual progress, Krishna has recorded it. He has recorded it permanently. And he doesn't, because you have done so much spiritual progress in your previous birth, nothing that you have done has gone waste. Okay? So you see in this first picture, a person is running after money. He's running after money. His entire life is running after money. He's running after money. And at the end, he realizes he has to fall down and die, but he can't hold on to his money because his money is not going to come to him after his death. After his death, he might be taking another birth, but it is not that he's able to take his money to his grave and take it to his next birth. It never happens. Anything in this material life is actually lost at the end. But whereas whatever we do in our spiritual life, whatever credits we have in our spiritual life, even if we have stopped at 70% in our previous birth, this birth you can start from 71%. If you have stopped at 50%, you can start at 51%. If you have stopped at 78%, you can start from 79%. So every little thing that you do, all the spiritual activities you have done, it is all recorded and put in your bank account, in your spiritual bank account. So therefore, that is the reason Krishna makes it very easy for you to take up in the next birth. He makes it very easy because you're going to start from 71. It's not that you have to start from 0. So very, very fortunate if you have taken birth in a family of devotees. It is very, very fortunate by chance if you have come to Krishna consciousness at such an early age. That means your previous credits, bank balance was already, it was already filled up to a great extent, and you're just going to continue that, putting more and more into your account. If you have stopped at 82, you're starting from 83. So that is how Krishna looks at spiritual percentages. Just like, you have these tournaments, right? You all have football tournaments, what else games do you play? Basketball tournaments. So if you are a winner in the previous season, imagine you were the winner in a previous season, and there are totally like 9 to 10 teams, and you were probably, number 1. So does it mean that today when you're playing the tournament, you're already the winner because you were better than the other team? You have to play the tournament fresh, right? If you're going to start the tournament this season, you have to play the tournament fresh. It's not that because you were the winner previous time, you're always considered a winner. That is not true. You always start from the beginning. Whatever we do in the material life is like that. So whatever we do, once we lose it, it is lost. It is lost. If you have lost the cup last time, just because you were a great player 2 tournaments before that, it doesn't mean that you have some credits for it. No, you have to start from the beginning. So everything in material life is like that. But whereas in spiritual life, whatever credits you earn, it's very much like when you're watching a movie. So when you're watching a movie and you have some work to do, you just hit the pause button, you walk out, you come back and you put the play button. What happens? The movie resumes, right? So you have not lost anything. You have seen till interval, you pause the button, you go, you have your dinner, you come back, you hit play. Nothing is lost. You have just paused. So that is exactly what our situation is. If you have done a lot of pious activities, a lot of spiritual activities in your previous birth, it is like at the time of death, you're hitting the pause button. And then this birth, you're coming and hitting the play button. So Krishna has preserved everything that you have. It's a very nice thing. Spiritual life is very beautiful and very positive. But in material life, it's not easy. It's not easy. If you lose a rupee, you've lost it forever. If you've lost $1 on the street, that dollar is lost forever, right? You can't earn it back. I mean, you can earn it back in different ways, but $1 lost is $1 lost. Okay? But whereas spiritual life is never like that. It's a permanent thing. So let's see some examples. Who is this on the left-hand side? Whose picture do you see?
No, we can't see
You can't see?
a picture. Oh.
Yeah. Who's that?
Yeah, king.
I think you all know him. Okay.
The left or right?
The left. Anyone wants to take a guess?
Mataji, could you repeat the question?
Who's the person on the left? Whose picture is it on the left?
On the left, is that the story of what's his name? Jad Bharat?
Yes, that's right. It's the story of Jad Bharat. So, can anyone tell me about the 3 births of Jad Bharat?
Can I go, Mataji?
Yes, please go ahead.
So in the first birth, he was King Bharat, and he was a very pious king, and he went and did like tapasya and in the forest. Then he saw one deer trying to cross the river, and she was pregnant. Well, she gave birth in the river, and he went to protect the baby deer, and he grew so attached to that at the time of death he only thought about the baby deer, and then so in his next life he became a deer. But since in his past life he was so he was a devotee, he could remember his past life, so he only associated with sages. And when he gave up that deer body, he became Jad Bharat, and he was known as dull, and he wanted to be dull and deaf and dumb because he doesn't want to like get entangled with material people.
Yes. And what kind of birth did he have? In what family was he born?
He was a Brahmana.
He was a Brahmana. And was it easy for him to take up? I mean, like, in the sense, did Krishna put him in a good situation where he could continue his spiritual practice?
Yes.
Yes, that is right. So, as you mentioned, from day one, he decided that he would only be, he would not associate with materialistic people, and he was born in a Brahmana family, and he could take up Krishna consciousness very easily, and he could perfect his life during his 3rd life as Jad Bharat. So, that is one example of a person who left unsuccessful in the previous life, and then who took birth again, but continued his credits. Okay, he didn't have to earn it from the beginning. Now, you look on the other side. This is a picture of whom?
Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati.
Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. So, the purport of this verse, of this Bhagavad Gita verse, Prabhupada talks about himself, and he also talks about Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Actually, it's the purport of the next verse, but both the verses are connected. And Prabhupada says, we, that is both himself and his spiritual master, they were very fortunate to take birth in a family of Vaishnavas. Because they were born in a family of Vaishnavas, it was very easy for them to take up Krishna consciousness and spread the message of Krishna. So he gives himself as an example, Prabhupada, for taking birth in a Vaishnava family. And similarly, he talks about Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Whose father was Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati? Who was Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's father?
Bhaktivinoda Thakur.
Yeah, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and he was a great Vaishnava. And also he was a great judge. He was a man of, he was very well-to-do. At the same time, he was in a very nice Brahmin family. In a very nice pious family. So therefore, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati had a very good upbringing. It was very easy for him to take up spiritual life. So these are some examples of people, and I think you all are examples, all of you in the class, you are all live examples of this fact of taking birth in a Vaishnava family where your parents are favorable to Krishna consciousness. They are also practicing Krishna consciousness. That itself is a great sign. So you have left at some point. All that you have to do now is just continue that. And this is a very precious gift. Not everyone is gifted with this. Not even your parents. Your parents took it up at a very old age. They took it up much later than all of you. But you're all very fortunate. Very, very fortunate to just take it up at 75% or 80% or even 90%. Okay, so you've gone a long way. Don't leave it at this point. Just hold on to it and continue it, and you'll be a great success for sure. Okay. Now we'll see one more story. This is a very interesting story. This is the story of Yadava Prakash. Okay, many of you may not be aware of this story, so pay attention. It's a very interesting story. So Yadava Prakash was actually a very, very learned Brahmin, and he was a Mayavadi. Now this Yadava Prakash was one of the teachers of the great Sri Vaishnava Acharya by the name Ramanujacharya. You might have all heard of this name Ramanujacharya. He is one of the Acharyas of the four Sampradayas. He is the Acharya of the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. Now this Ramanujacharya, during his school days when he was very young, he would go to the ashram of Yadava Prakash to learn Sanskrit grammar, to learn the basic texts, okay, Upanishads and Vedas and Sanskrit. For all that, he would go to his teacher's house by the name Yadava Prakash. This Yadava Prakash was his teacher in the initial days. So Yadava Prakash would teach him grammar, he would teach him the Upanishads, he would teach him how to read the different scriptures, and he was very, very scholarly, very, very scholarly. And he trained Ramanujacharya very, very nicely. However, Yadava Prakash was a Mayavadi. Now, Mayavadi means an impersonalist, one who doesn't accept that the Lord has a form, the Lord has qualities. So such a person is called as a Mayavadi or an impersonalist. Now this Yadava Prakash, though he was such a great scholar, he was into a very, very different philosophy from what Ramanujacharya actually wanted to follow. Anyway, he was enrolled in the school and he continued his life with Yadava Prakash being his teacher. Oftentimes, Ramanujacharya and Yadava Prakash would get into fights because Ramanujacharya, he never liked this Mayavad philosophy. So oftentimes they would pick verses from the Upanishads and they would get into an argument. So this went on for a few days. Then one day, it so happened that Yadava Prakash and Ramanujacharya, they were walking on the streets of their town. And this Yadava Prakash, he was accompanied by many of his disciples. Many of his disciples, including Ramanujacharya, they were walking on the streets. While they were walking on the streets, they saw one girl, the princess, actually. She was the princess. She was the king's daughter who was possessed by a ghost. Okay? They saw this girl. And this great personality, this great prince, he went and fell at the feet of Yadava Prakash and he asked Yadava Prakash, please help me. Please help me. My daughter is possessed by a ghost. I want the ghost to leave her body. You are such a learned scholar. You know all the Vedas, you know all the Upanishads, and I'm sure you have enough mystic perfections to somehow drive away this ghost from my daughter's body. So at that time, Yadava Prakash, he was very proud. He was very, very proud. So he stepped forward and he looked at this girl who was possessed by a ghost and he told her, hey ghost, walk out of the body of this young girl. I am Yadava Prakasha. I am ordering you. You better get out of this girl. When he made this order, the ghost in the girl's body started laughing. She started laughing and she said, who are you? Who are you, Yadava Prakash? I know your previous birth. After all, you were a toad. You know what is a toad? It's like a frog, okay? It's a variety of frog. Thick-skinned frog is basically a toad. So this ghost said, who are you to order me? I know your previous birth. I know who you were. You were after all a toad. By great fortune, by chance, you had the opportunity to eat some leftover food that Vaishnavas left near the river. You just went, collected off some rice grains from their plates and you ate it. And because of that, today you are born as this great scholar Yadava Prakash. You have had this great fortune because of the mercy of Vaishnav remnants. Because you just happened to eat it by mistake one day, today you have the birth as a great scholar. You are ordering me to go? I won't listen to you. But I see that there is another saintly person with you, that young boy Ramanuja. If he tells me, I will leave. And then Ramanujacharya, he stepped forward and very humbly he requested the ghost to leave, and the ghost left and went away and the princess became normal. So this is a story just to tell us that even a little bit of credit, that we have done previously goes a long way. Imagine this toad, this creature just ate some remnants, some leftover remnants that was there near the river. Vaishnavas came to the river to wash off their hands. Some grain that was sticking to their hands actually fell off in the river. The toad went and ate a little bit of it. How much credit the toad has earned. He was able to get a human birth and he was able to become such a great scholar, Yadava Prakash. And it didn't stop there. This scholar, further by the association of Sripad Ramanujacharya in his later years, initially he was very, very proud and envious and he tried to attack Ramanujacharya in many ways. But much later, he realized his mistake and he became a disciple of Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya gave him such an important post. He became a very famous disciple of Sripad Ramanujacharya and he perfected his life. So even a little we do, it goes a long way. Remember this story. There was nothing much that this toad did. Just a little bit credit. And that credit was preserved so nicely by Krishna, and in his next birth, he could really perfect his life. So even in the story of Narada, we have seen this, right? What happened to Narada? Anyone knows? Whose son was he?
Shudra's son.
Yes, and what did he do? What was the thing that he did to earn credits?
He served Vaishnavas or sages that came to his house.
Yes, he served Vaishnavas and he happened to take their remnants only once, Bhagavatam says. By chance, I had the opportunity to take their remnants only once, and because of that, he was able to develop devotional service to the Lord. So that is the potency of any little devotional service that you do. So continue. This birth is very, very special. So take it up more seriously and just keep continuing. Krishna always preserves whatever we have done. Even if it's 20% that is preserved. And after we take up Krishna consciousness, it's like an express train. We can really progress like Yadava Prakash and perfect our lives. Okay? So that's about this verse. So anyone, what is the translation of this verse? An unsuccessful yogi, after many, many years of enjoyment in the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy. Why? So that he can continue his progress in his spiritual life. So that is the only reason why Krishna places him in such families. So we take advantage. If we are placed in such a family, we should take full advantage of that and continue our progress and make it 100%. Okay. Shall we take chances in reciting the verse? Who wants to go first?
Hare Krishna Mataji. I'll go.
Yes.
प्राप्य पुण्यकृतं लोकानुषित्वा सरस्वती समः सूचिनां श्रीमतां गेहे योगभ्रष्टो विजायते.
Very nice, thank you.
Mataji, this is Krishna Chaitanya.
Yes, Krishna Chaitanya.
I'll recite the verse. Prapayo punyakritam lokan usitva shashvitatihi samaha suchinam srimatam gehe yogo brasto abhijayate.
Very nice, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Mataji, can I please?
Yes, Anmo.
प्राप्य पुण्यकृतं लोकन् स्विता सद्विति समा सुचिनां श्रीमतं गेहे योगोपास्ता विजायते.
Thank you, very nice. Anyone else?
Yes. Can I say?
Yes, Krishna.
Prapya punya kritam lokan ushtiva shashvati sama suchinam shrimatam yehe yoga brashto vijayate.
Very nice, thank you so much. Siddharth? Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Prapya punya kritam lokan ushvita shashvita samaha suchinam shrimatam gehe yoga brashto vijayate.
Very nice. Can you read the translation?
Successful yogi, after many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy.
Very nice, very nice.
I'm on.
Okay, so there is no one else, and we can end up. Yes.
Can I say the translation?
Yes, why not? Go ahead.
The unsuccessful yogi, after many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entity, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy.
Aristocracy. Okay. Why don't you recite the verse as well?
Okay. Prapya punya kritam lokan ushitva sasvata samaha suchitam srimatam gehe yoga brasto vijayate.
Very good. Good job. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, kids. So we'll meet again next week with another verse of from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6. Okay. So we have done 2 verses from chapter 6 and we'll proceed further. So all of you have done your exams very well. Very happy about it. So continue to learn nicely. We'll end the call here. Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhescha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय. हरे कृष्ण.
Thank you.